All right. Good evening, everyone. I don't think anybody's on yet, but I just I'm welcoming everybody. It's 6:59, I believe. We're just waiting for people to jump on. Don't know how many people will get tonight. It's the first one I've done, a live video in years, but we're getting back into it. I don't know if I like the light, but that's way too dark. Let's try something. Does that equalize? Yeah, that actually equalizes it out a little bit. If I did this, too dark. Okay. Seven o'clock. We'll give it a couple more minutes. See if anybody jumps on. If not, I'm going to continue on to make this video because we want to. I'm going to make this a video that posts to my different programs, my different video feeds. Still don't see anybody on. Like I said, I might give it to like 7:05. I got on a little early, but waiting for people to jump on. Like I said, I don't know if nobody jumps on, I'll just do this video feed and then post it to my different video formats. So obviously it'll be on YouTube here. I'll probably get something to put on TikTok or Facebook. We shall see. Send feedback. I'm trying to see. Share screen and stream. I don't know what's going on over here. I got a thing that says something went wrong. Don't know how this is going to work. Oh, I think I got a guest. I'll be right with you. I'm having some technical difficulties. I'm trying to get to the bottom of it. Where the chat is supposed to be. I don't know. Whoever is on here, if you can let me know. Oh, they fell off. Okay, saying something went wrong. Oh. Somebody was on, and I don't know what happened to him. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on with my chat. So I don't have any expand menu, manage, pop out dashboard. Had one view. That's not helping me. Don't know why. All right. All right, it's 7:05. I'm gonna go ahead and start rolling. Someone else just popped back on. I'm sorry. Someone was on earlier. I'm having some technical problems with the chat. It's not showing up. I'm getting an error message from YouTube. So I don't know if I'll be able to see your chats. If somebody wants to try and send one, that would be great. And see if this error message I have goes away. Oh, and whoever was on, jump back off. All right. So I need to make a video anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and start the video. Just to, so I'm gonna just go ahead and get it started. All right. So welcome to Sunday Nights with Mike. I'm Mike Belliner. I am the owner of Lightbridge Advisors. It's a coaching consulting company. It's still in the process of getting out there. I've started some workshops and things like that. But I wanted to get on here tonight because a couple of reasons. I was really concerned about the state of I don't know how to word it. The state of how my business is framed. So I guess I'll start with this. I met with a strategist earlier this week. Uh, Gentleman I met through a networking meeting, and we were talking, and I shared with him. He saw my information that I shared with them on the networking meeting. It was an online networking meeting, and he just hold on. I'm trying to see. I think somebody might be. Nope. Okay, so that's not. I thought maybe somebody was trying to get on. So met with the strategist, and he said, I really respect that you're trying to do something, but he goes, there's a couple things about your business. If I was hired as a coach to you, what I would recommend to you. First of all, using the word purpose and performance coach. Everybody's using that. I know there's a lot of buzzwords and tags out there in the coaching industry, and I don't know what to do. I specifically have crafted my business very carefully around what it is that I want to do. And that. So as he was talking to me, he said purpose and performance coach is good, is being highly overused, and so is potential and purpose, which is a cornerstone of my business. I was really kind of disappointed. I mean, I understood. I mean, I know the reason that I picked those titles. But he didn't. And he said everybody is using those as buzzwords, purpose, potential. Everybody's using that in their stuff. He goes, I would highly suggest that you change it. And I was like, okay. We talked for a while, and I said, listen, I, I gotta tell you, I'm kind of taken back by this because it's kind of the identity of my business. The identity of my business is purpose and potential. And I explained to him what I'm going to kind of share with you guys tonight. I explained to him what it was, and then he immediately changed his tone. He says, "You need to keep it. You are clear. You have a purpose for the reason that you're using that. Not like all these other coaches that are just throwing. Those are good buzzwords that people want to hear. You need to do. But here's what you need to do. You need to make a video explaining this to people. So this is kind of the video. I decided this would be my opening live thing that I would do for YouTube Live on Sunday nights. So I'm gonna kind of get into it. So again, I'm gonna open up with the welcome because I'm gonna probably edit this video and get it posted online. So welcome to Sunday Night Live welcome to Sunday Nights with Mike. It's kind of rhymey. I am looking for different titles. I kind of fell on that one. I didn't want to make it just about the business. I wanted to be more personal. And that's the title I'm using for the Sunday night feed that I'm going to do. Welcome to Sunday Nights with Mike. We're going to talk about the thing I'm going to talk about tonight really gets me upset. So it was some years ago. I spent the last 30 years of my life trying to figure out who I am, what I'm about, where's my gifts at. I mean, I know I always knew I was gifted, and I feel like I've got so many gifts and that I can do so many different things. But what is it that I'm supposed to be doing? I came across a book, oh, probably 20 years ago, if maybe longer. And I found this book at a used bookstore, and it was a devotional by author Miles Monroe. Miles Monroe is a preacher, and he's written a lot of books. And I remember like it was yesterday. I think it was the very first lesson I did in that book, and it was where the question. It was like a question: where where does most potential live? Where's an overabundance of potential? And I'm not mad about this, but I'm very disappointed. And so if any of you know where that is, um, hold on because I'm going to give you the answer. I would love for people to chime in, but I think the chat is broken on this. I can't get the chat to work. So where do you see so much wasted potential? The number one place of wasted potential is a graveyard. And what it is, it's people that have taken their potential to the grave with them. They have they were either a writer and they never wrote a book. They were a singer and they never sang a song. They were supposed to be a project manager, but they always stayed an employee at the level of work that didn't involve project management. There's just so many different ways that you see potential wasted in the graveyard. So many people that took what God gave them, what their gifts were, to the grave with them. And that's sad because there's so many people. I believe everybody has potential. The more I've studied Miles Monroe and learned more about potential, the more I believed, and it's not just Miles Monroe. I look at my Bible and I see that potential exists in all of us. We're created with that. Let me take a quick sip here. So we're created with all this potential to do something. The problem is we don't know what we don't know, if that makes sense. We don't know what our potentials are. We believe most people believe that they have something in them. They either can't figure out how to get it out or they can't figure out what it is. So when I designed my coaching business, which I'm switching to, I think I'm going to be switching to the term guide. I've wrestled with this for a long time. I felt like I wanted to be in the coaching business for a long time, but I wasn't sure how I wanted to coach. What kind of coaching? Do I want to do life coaching? What kind of I felt kind of passionate about helping small business. So small business coaching to small to medium sized businesses, helping them to grow or to start a business. And that, but I one of the things that really hit me um, was, and let me tell you my story a little bit. So let me back up a little bit so you can kind of get my story will hopefully give you an example. I grew up, I grew up like any other kid, middle class kid, um, had a paper route, did some things on the side, hustled, shoveled snow for people when it snowed out and that. And I got hooked on electronics. I just loved electronics in high school. I took 2 years of it in high school, then went on to Specs Howard School of Broadcast Arts to get an associate's degree. It was a trade program, and that to get an associate's degree in electronics technology. The week I was graduating school, I determined that I didn't want to do that anymore. I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to be in business. I don't know if I knew the word entrepreneur yet, but I wanted to be in business for myself. I wanted to call the shots. I wanted to make the money. I wanted to be in charge of my time and my finance and all that stuff. So I ventured out through the years. That's probably my mid 20s. Through the years, I um, dabbled in some other things. I had a landscaping company. I had a cleaning company. I ran my dad's construction company for him for a long time. Got involved with some multi-level marketing. I mean, I've done a lot of things. I used to have friends that used to call me and say, "Where are you working this week?" And I know there's a lot of people that think, "Oh, that's not really a good thing." It's not really a bad thing either, though. It depends on how you're wired and stuff. But when I started learning that this was more about leadership than it was being an entrepreneur, when I started getting into my late 30s, early 40s, I was discovering that most of these gifts that God was bestowing on me was more about leadership than about being an entrepreneur. It I started going through some shifts and some life changes. But through it all, I always had this potential, and I knew that I was supposed to do something. When I started looking back, when I started really evaluating my life, trying to figure out when it was I became an entrepreneur, I discovered it wasn't when I graduated college. I'd been an entrepreneur since I was like 7. So I started looking back and realizing that I used to answer ads in comic books and to buy and sell things like Christmas cards, personalized Christmas cards. I remember selling out of the ads from the comic magazines. I would order the Christmas cards and sell them to the neighbors. And then I went on to have a paper route, and then I went on to do, snow shoveling and it's whatever I could do as a kid. And then I got into the lawn care when I was just out of college. Then opened a cleaning company. So all these things, when I look back, I didn't become an entrepreneur when I was graduating college. I was actually already an entrepreneur. I just didn't know. I had that potential, but I didn't know how to make it real. When I graduated college, that's when I started really making it more real. I don't want to say real. It was real when I had a paper route. It was real when I was selling Christmas cards, but I just didn't have everything together. So when I opened up my first business, I mean, you learn a lot. So I took that potential and I bridged it. That's the name of my company, Light Bridge Advisors. So I took my company and said, this is what I want to help people. People have potential. They're over here on this rock, okay? And then they want to get over here to this rock to have a successful business. Well, I got to put a bridge between there. What potential do you have, and how can it translate into that business that you want to open? And that's where the bridge comes from. So that's what's so important to me, because I believe every single human being, I don't believe any human being is literally worthless, does not have potential. I just don't believe it. It's part of my faith, and you look at people, I just, to me, if someone said I don't have any potential, I'm literally a worthless piece of cow dung. To me, I would see a person that literally had no spine or couldn't stand up and just is just weak in every single way that you can imagine. And I've never met a human being like that. I've met some crazy and messed up human beings, but I've never met anybody that I don't believe doesn't have some potential, even one little thing. So I just believe that that's out there. Now, how do they get that potential and turn it into purpose? They need help sometimes. Sometimes you can figure it out on your own. Truly, you'll never figure it out on your own. I mean, if you look at what I'm offering, I offer a workshop called Reading Your Life. It's a 6-week intensive that helps you to discover who you are, what your potential is, and how you turn it into purpose, and the type of person, the type of work you should be doing, the type of career you should have, the type of life that you should be living. All of those things come from that. So we help people find their way in that. And that's really what it is. I'm on my second workshop since I've written this workshop, and I'm just so much enjoying watching people's faces, watching their demeanors change as they look into what they can do in their life. When they start discovering, hey, I wasn't made to do this, I was made to do this. When they realize that, oh, I do have this gift. I always thought I had this gift. When they start discovering these things about themselves, and they can, just go out and make a change in their life. So that's what I'm about. That's why I'm so passionate about it. So purpose and potential are not buzzwords to me. They are the pillar of our society. Everybody has potential and everybody needs to learn how to use that potential. And my that's what I've chose for my career. So that is pretty much it in a nutshell. I wanted to come on here tonight and share that with you. Because I feel like after talking to that strategist, excuse my language, um, that I was really kind of disappointed, but he made a lot of sense. And I'm like, yeah, I need to get online and I need to share this with people. And that's why, I'm picked it to do this live video, but um obviously nobody I've had a couple people jump on for a few minutes and then they went back off. I don't think I'm going to republish this video. I'm going to edit it so I make it a shorter video, but I'm going to edit it and put in there what purpose and potential is about, and then people can rewatch the video because I really, if you're looking for some help, if you're an individual or a business that needs help figuring out, if you're an individual, you need help figuring out what it is you're supposed to do in life. What it is, or maybe you've already been doing something in life, you've been successful and you're happy doing it, but you want to know what the next step is. And that's the beauty of life. Our life is always evolving. I started off, like I said, selling newspapers and Christmas cards to people. When I graduated college, I decided I wanted to do something more like a regular business, not sales. So I got into the landscaping. I started doing landscaping. So I was doing the work. I picked up a partner and we'd go cut grass all day. We worked part time at a retail store in the evenings. When that kind of fizzled out, he joined the Navy, and I kind of closed the doors on that. A couple years later, I opened up a cleaning company called Total Commercial Cleaning, and I did pretty well for myself. I wasn't making a ton of money. I had to work a full time job as well. But what's interesting is if you've been in business before, you know that um, it takes 3 to 5 years before you show a profit. I was showing a profit. It wasn't huge, but it was a profit. I was showing a profit within 2 years. And that I probably kept the business for 4, maybe 5 years. And I just was kind of starting to get bored with it. And I wanted to move on to something else. And that's kind of the entrepreneurial spirit. A lot of people say, well, you should keep a business going. Yeah. Well, I mean, it depends on what it is. I mean, I didn't have enough deep roots in it. I didn't walk away from it with hundreds of customers and hundreds of thousands of dollars a year in contracts. I walked away from a small, regional mom and pop cleaning business, and I didn't really have to worry about, sending customers anywhere else. I just kind of phased them out and then closed the doors. And that there's days that I wonder that for some reason that just resonates with me. That was probably one of my best businesses. I don't know if I should have kept it open or not. But I don't like to be one that carries around regrets. I don't regret closing it down. I moved on to other things. My dad had a roofing company. I tried to take us to the next level where we're doing full scale construction and kind of successful with that. But my dad and I had a bad breakup in the year 2000, and I went on my own way. I got into the security business and I worked in the security business for about almost 20 years and decided to get into some other things. I ended up opening my own security business eventually. But this is where I believe I'm being led. This is where my skills and my gifts are. And so I'm a coach, but I'd more like to say I'm a guide. So the whole looking at your purpose, if you're an individual, we look for your purpose. If you're a business, what is your business purpose? There's a lot of businesses out there, especially service-based businesses, that think they're in business to do a certain thing and don't realize that they're really filling a different need in the market. And, I mean, like a heating and cooling company. You might own a heating and cooling company, and say, well, obviously, I help people, individuals or businesses with their furnaces and their air conditioning and gas issues, and some of you are mechanical contractors and you do all the stuff, the duct work, anything that's mechanical and that. But you might have a business like that and then realize that you're only doing business for restaurants and that, and but you continue to operate like a regular heating and cooling company, when in reality, maybe your purpose is to serve that niche market, and you need to hone things on. So you need to create systems and ideals that will work in the restaurant industry. Don't worry about doing homes, don't worry about doing different types of businesses. Focus on that restaurant industry, and when you do, if that's where you're supposed to be, and you're already there, but you're not acting like it. If you make that shift, you'll be surprised at when you specialize in that niche market, how much more business that you will get, based on what you've already been doing. People will get to know you, and you'll be known as the restaurant guru, the restaurant heating and cooling guru. And that can be a good thing. That it keeps you from having to chase a lot of work. A lot of your work will just come to you rather than you chase sending advertisements out to homeowners or other businesses. You focus on that niche market. I I've become incredibly focused in my coaching. I wanted to coach on a lot of different things, but I think small to medium sized business is a niche of mine, and helping people. And the biggest niche in my market is potential and purpose. Finding your potential in whatever it is, an individual or a business, and then helping you bridge that gap so you can serve that purpose that you need to serve to the community and that. So that is basically what we do. That's what purpose and potential means to me. It's not a buzzword like a lot of coaches use. A lot of coaches will say, "Oh yeah, of course you have potential. Of course you everybody's got a purpose. Let's get together and figure out if you can find what it is." I don't ask you to get together with me so I can help you find out what it is. I'm sit down and said, "Here's what I have. I have the tools to help you figure it out. Let's go through this process." So again, for an individual, I have a 6-week program called Reading Your Life that helps you to look at your life, look at your past, and see how you were programmed originally. Then look at what's been deposited in your life throughout your life, and what are your gifts and your skills, what energizes you, what de-energizes you. Look at all those things as a total package and figure out who are you, and and if this is who you are, then let's move to the next level. So I'm going to just to give you an example, I'm going to leave with this last note, okay? So I'm just going to give you a quick review of my story. In the year 2000, I started out a company called Security Corporation. Loved being able to do electronics and construction because you have to drill holes in walls and fish wires. And that's one thing I loved about the security business. I started seeing the security business become like a rogue animal. I mean, it seems like it has very little, it's just starting to get there, but very little oversight over all this stuff. I mean, companies are taking advantage of customers, like you would not believe, because the customer doesn't know what they should be getting rather than what they are getting. I was very disappointed about that. Decided to leave the company. Started a coaching business 7 years ago. I started a coaching business, but I didn't know what I wanted to coach on, and I flailed around. I had a partner. We tried this. We tried that. And then I decided in the end I wanted to do business coaching, and I thought it would be better for me to go out and open up another business. So when I talk to people about being in business, that I could tell them, "Hey, I already have a successful business. I've had them in the past. I have one now. Let me help you with your business." And that I got sucked back into the security industry by doing that on my own. I ended up closing the doors on that. Hit a really rough year, and things went down. I had to close the doors on the business. Went back into working with some other companies. Got into some project management. In September, I was let go from my job as a project manager. I Local company. I was getting so stressed out. My blood pressure was through the roof, And I'm like, it's not worth it. And the company let me go because of some issues that happened. I came home, sat down at my computer, and clarity of mind just started coming through. I knew exactly the type of coach I wanted to be. I knew exactly what I wanted to start talking about. I started writing workshops. I've written 6 workshops that I'm in the process of launching right now, that help people with their business, help employees and businesses go from the worker to the leader. So I've got a program that does that. Helps people overcome their fears. I got one that's called Overcoming Fear. I've got one called Reading Your Life, as I just mentioned. That helps you to look at your life and find your potentials, bridge it to the purpose that you should have in life, and live a full life. I have another one that's I'm doing some scam seminars for seniors. We go out and we help them to learn how not to get scammed. There's so many scams. People are preying on our senior citizens in this country. And that, so those are just a few of the ones that I've written. I'm still in the process of finishing some of them up, but that's where I'm at. I wanted to come on here tonight and clear the air. If you're looking for a coach and they talk to you about what they say, we're going to discover your potential or we're going to discover your purpose, and that, get real clear with them. Ask them. I'm not knocking any coaches. I'm sure there's some out there that are like me, that are very concerned about what they want to do with you. But if you're hiring a coach and they talk about purpose, potential, and that, get very specific. What exactly are you talking about? What are we going to do? Make them ask, make them answer pointed questions so you know that you're getting the right person. I have gotten to the point I won't work with anyone. If you come to me and I say, "Look, I'm a purpose and performance coach. I'm not about all the touchy-feely. I don't want you to think I don't want you to think that I'm gonna validate your feelings. You're coming to me with an issue. Maybe you're trying to launch a business and you don't know exactly how to do it. You're coming to me with an issue. I'm gonna help you drill down on what that issue is and find out what it is you need to do for business. I don't even want you to become a long-term client. I would like to see, 1, 2, 4, 5 more 5 sessions max, and let's get you on the road. Okay. So when you come to me and you say, I've got this problem, all right, we're going to figure out what the problem is and we're going to figure out how to overcome it. And I'm going to be a guide for you. I'm not a coach in the traditional sense where I'm going to ask you. I I hate to say this. I hear a lot of coaches say, well, how did that make you feel? I do want to ask you that question because we need to figure out how you're reacting to things. But I gotta tell you, at the end of the day, I don't care how you feel. If you come to me and you have a financial problem in your business and you're saying, and I say to you, how do you feel about that? Well, I feel like I'm losing money, but I don't know what to do about it. I'm not gonna say that to you. I'm gonna say, okay, so you're losing money in this business. Have you considered this, this, and this? And if you're a experienced business person and you tell me yes, okay, well, let's look at some of the other issues you've got going on, and then work through them. But if you come to me and say, "I really don't know what I'm doing," okay, lay the groundwork out. I've got a business seminar that I do. I've got a 5-week business seminar that I do that starts from startup to scaling your business. It's an online class, and I'm either going to get the person into it or they're going to hire me as a personal coach or guide, and I'm going to help them through the rough spot. Once they get over that hump, I'm done. You can call me back for another problem down the road, but I'm not into this. Let's get, 10 years of coaching. Let me be your coach on retainer and I'll be there for you for the next 10 years. And that just doesn't make any sense to me. There's a place you're hemorrhaging money. So that's I don't know. I was kind of all over the board tonight, but I think the biggest thing that I want to let you know out there is that potential is important, purpose is important, and how you bridge those, it sometimes takes a third person to do it. Sometimes we're too close to the problem. If we own a business and we can't figure out what to do, we're too close to it. When I had my tech business a few years ago, there were things that were happening in it, and I'm trying to think logically as a businessman to take care of those things, but I couldn't do it all the time because I was too close to the problem. And, so it takes an outside person sometime to help you see the things that you need to see. So that's it. Nobody was on really tonight. A couple people popped on. I'm gonna edit this video. I mean, right now it's gonna be up and available to anybody that wants to watch it. I was hoping more people would be on and I could do a Q&A session. But I'm probably gonna take this video, strip it down to a 10-minute video on uh, being a coach or a guide that helps you with your potential and your purpose. Thank you all that did pop on for a few minutes. Thank you all for that will be watching this video down the road. I appreciate your efforts, and I appreciate even more the that you give to society. People that are going to watch my videos are going to be people that want to be movers and shakers. I'm not looking for people to get on here that just want to, make their ears tickle their ears. That's not what I'm about.